Hello and welcome back. It's been a hot minute since we've been together. I figured out how to make bubble tea with these popping bubbles, and that's made my life a little better. It's been a wild few weeks here in the US. We've gone from this, and then we've landed on this, so we're feeling a lot better. But we definitely saw some things, and we're processing, and let's talk about a few of these things. If you've been on the internet and you're part of the spiritual, pagan, supernatural, witchcraft community, then you've maybe seen some of this crop up before. So let's say you're researching for information about how to use herbs in your witchcraft, and you find this really wonderful blog. Sure, there's a few red flags. The lady has shaman in her bio as one of her qualifications, and she's this white lady from Wisconsin, but she's probably just a little eccentric. So you sign up to receive her newsletter, but then you start to take a closer look at her content, and once in a while she gets a little too excited about her white heritage. And, maybe you wanted to learn more about the Norse pantheon, and you find yourself in a group that is really into talking about how much better society would be if everyone sorted out into ethno-states. You get the idea. It's pretty much impacted every single community online. Even my EGL fashion communities have to yeet out a white supremacist every once in a while. And don't even get me started about steampunk. And there's those Star Wars fans that are pretty adamantly on the side of the Empire for some reason. I mean, to be honest, even your grandma's casserole Facebook group has probably had to ban somebody for being a racist. So back to witchcraft. If you've been around the online communities, you're well aware that it's a problem. But somewhat recently, it's made it onto the mainstream news, and the wingnuts are out there in full force. And for your consideration, let's take a look at Bison Guy from the Capitol raid. This is what I'm absolutely speaking out against when I talk about the dangers of, completely unchecked woo. So we do have a post that was made by this guy on social media, and it was really a wake-up call for the spiritual community as a whole. We know these folks are out there, but now everyone else has seen this as well. Okay, so let's take a look at this post. Let's see. I'm just gonna read it for you. I am a shamanic practitioner and energetic healer. Okay, there's a few red flags already. I've been on the shamanic path for over a decade and have numerous different capabilities and gifts at my disposal. Most shamanic practitioners do not feel right about accepting currency for their services. However, given the nature of the current socioeconomic system, my low and reasonable fee of $33.33 per hour for any one of my services. So whenever you feel weird about charging for something, you can just cite this socioeconomic system. It is my hope that this price is high enough to show that I am the real deal. Guys, he's the real deal. But low enough to allow me to help the people who need it and at an affordable price. I offer numerous different services to any and all those whom I serve, or you can combine services. So let's look and see what this guy can offer us. So the first thing he has listed is a basic ascension reading, where you use cards and runes and his intuitive wisdom. An energetic healing, I thought this one was interesting, through the use of higher dimensional energy, neuro-linguistic reprogramming, and syntactical affirmations. I'll help you detach from negative behavioral patterns. I will untangle your emotional knots and remove implants from your electromagnetic field. You will also be given the proper light codes to help keep your EM field or aura in harmonic balance well after the session is over. Well, thank goodness, because nobody wants emotional knots or implants. A karmic repatterning program. It's not my fault. This is word salad, and it's really hard to read. Okay, karmic repatterning, through the use of higher dimensional gateways or stargates. I'm pretty sure that's a TV show, not a thing. You will be taken on a journey through space and time to different events in your life. While observing these events from a third-party perspective, the light codes for how to heal from the trauma or alter a toxic perspective will be discovered and then encoded into the EM field of your body, thusly also the DNA of every cell in your body, through shamanic technique. Ooh, spiritual self-defense. I surround and fill you with higher dimensional light codes of protection, peace, and unconditional love. Okay. Yeah, protection. Anywho's. So I don't think he was full of unconditional love when he was... Oh, cat hair. Ooh, guy, sir. Oh, buddy. Now I'm covered in cat hair. Oh. So, yeah. Ooh. Anyway, this is super embarrassing, right? So why is it that these white supremacists are attracted to this kind of spiritual word salad gobbledygook? So if your ideas are bad and not based in fact or reason or logic, then you can use spirituality to sort of invent this world where your ideas do make sense. Or you can even go back and invent history to support your bad ideas. Then these folks pepper in terms from other cultures, runes and symbols from various cultures, so that what they're saying feels rooted in some kind of tradition. You got to use iconography and, write memes over still frames from movies about Vikings, as if your shitty views are rooted in some kind of tradition, but really you don't understand that tradition at all. Now, this is my opinion, and I'm completely open to outside perspectives, but over that course of that week, when we were seeing this sort of violence play out, there was a push to call these folks terrorists. And words are very powerful, and I think that these folks want to be the bad guys. They want to be feared. They want to be like the rogue warriors. And so I think terrorist plays into that narrative for them. And so I don't think that we should refer to them that way. Terrorism, especially in the United States, is a really loaded word because it was sort of invented by the Bush administration as a way to harness public outrage in like a push against a certain group of people. Like fear and anger pushed against a group does a lot to empower that group. Like they want to be met with that fear and anger. And really it feeds their persecution fantasy. And it helps them with recruiting. What they don't want is to look foolish. So the memes and the jokes, I think, are more successful against this rhetoric than, calling them terrorists, insurrectionists. Like if you want to hurt them, make memes about them. Also, the memes help dissuade young people from wanting to sign up to these ideologies. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't take them seriously because, of course, they're a threat. We can take the threat that they pose seriously without taking them and their ideas seriously. We don't want to enter into this battle of good versus evil with them, but rather we should treat it like a disease. Like if the person is not too far gone and they're able to be saved, then we should do what we can to try to bring them back. But if they're really far gone and they're just bent on infecting other people, then we need to send them outside the city walls. So back to Bison Hat Guy. His tattoos would lead us to believe that he thinks he's some kind of Viking. And the Viking Norse community and the pantheon has had a problem with Nazis since back when there were original Nazis. For the past 4 years, an organization called Heathens United Against Racism has moved from getting over 100 organizations to sign a official decree denouncing racism and white supremacy, to more recently declaring an anti-racist call to action. Because frankly, like denouncing something isn't really enough. Like we have to take action. To be completely clear, the consequences of racism are extremely real and have detrimental impact on our society. However, the concept and ideas of racism hang by a thread. The ideas are so ridiculous that when you expose them to any skeptical review at all, they completely fall apart. So yeah, racism is ridiculous. So we should ridicule it. We have to laugh at how nonsensical it is. And we can't leave an inch of space for it in any of our groups, especially online. We always want to be really tolerant in our groups, and we want to really open, and we don't want to have very many rules and regulations because, you know, we're all very strange. And so it's important to have a landing place for everybody. But we can't fall victim to the tolerance paradox, where our groups are 100% tolerant of every idea. Because as soon as you start tolerating intolerance, then you've got a big problem, because that's going to seed itself, and that's not something that you want in your groups. And we need to be vigilant and make sure that we don't allow bison guys to come in and mess up our groups. Like, skepticism can really be helpful, because if we are accepting of everybody's ideas, that's going to be a problem. Because if anything goes, then you're going to get, you know, crappy stuff like this. So there's nothing revolutionary in this talk today, and nothing that hasn't been said by people that are far more educated than I am on the topic. So I think as skeptical witches, this is something that we can do to serve our community, is to, you know, apply heavy skepticism to these sort of bad, crappy ideas. All right, well, yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. You guys don't even know I'm a big fat phony. These are clip-ons. Peace out.